Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Glory Reds podcast. It's your boy Don Benito. And listen, guys, honestly, I mentioned this yesterday. I talked about this yesterday. This Sterling situation. Like, I'm now starting to realize that we might be making a mistake, or we might be. And wait, first of all, I don't understand Ineos. What is this? What kind of deal is this? This deal does not follow the Ineos rules at all. Sterling is going to turn, I think he's 29, he's going to turn 30. But that is not the profile of player that we're looking for. Like, that's not what we do. When I look at this deal, sorry, I apologize. So, Chelsea are looking to do a swap deal with Manchester United for Raheem Sterling and Jadon Sancho. Now, Chelsea only want this swap deal provided United accept the swap deal of Raheem Sterling. Like, this is just another one of those cases where another club comes to Manchester United and takes a piss. Honestly, United don't even need to entertain this deal. Like, I understand we wanted to get rid of Jadon Sancho, or I understand that we're trying to part ways with Jadon Sancho, but this is not the way we go about it. Like, we're not going to force it just because we're trying to bring in Raheem Sterling. Like, and the more I keep reading the story, the more I get annoyed, and the more I'm like, Ineos, what is this? Why haven't you been thinking about bringing in another striker or something? You're bringing in Raheem Sterling. To do what? To do what? Raheem Sterling's best years have passed. I think his best years were at Man City. And even those best years at Man City, he didn't really set the world on fire. I mean, he did well. But we are buying a player that has I get it, he's still a decent player, but this guy didn't play in the Euros. He wasn't selected. He played bits and pieces for Chelsea. Yeah, he played some games, but he wasn't the number one starter, like the number one name on that sheet. And now we're trying to bring him to United. And again, this guy has played for Liverpool, Man City, now Chelsea. Like, what kind of mercenary is that? Like, I know we are in a different era in football, but come on, like, seriously? And like I mentioned, Michael Owen. Like, yeah, we brought Michael Owen, but that was a different situation. And again, Michael Owen is not a United great. He's not gonna live in our hearts and say that Michael Owen came to United and he did the business. Or yeah, he's not. He's not. He was offered an opportunity to come and do a job at Manchester United. Fortunately for him, he won the Premier League. I guess it was his first Premier League, I think. And it just happened. We don't want this other scenario like this again. It makes no sense. Raheem Sterling is on what? 350, 320,000 a week? Like, how is this deal going to go? Are we going to be paying that? Like, I'm trying to understand. And then there's this whole thing of like Dan Ashworth. He's actually pushing for this thing. And I'm like, really? Our sporting director, really? Why? Because you've worked with this guy in the past, and what happened to? We are now trying to play like we're trying to rebuild. What happened to that? Bringing in players that nobody knows about and then trying to make them gems. What happened to that? Like, Juventus want Jadon Sancho, right? Like, here's a scenario where I don't even understand why this deal is not being made, why people are not looking into this situation. Because Fede Chiesa is probably on his way to Liverpool. Fede. He fell out with Juve, and which is another wild thing that I just don't understand. Chiesa is from a football legacy. I don't know what's happening at Juventus. I need to read more. But he has fell out with the hierarchy and the team there. That is why he's up for sale. Now, the amount of money that they've put him up for sale, I think Manchester United can afford it. The fact that Juventus actually wanted Jadon Sancho, like Jadon Sancho also wanted to go to Juve. So why isn't that deal materializing? Why isn't that deal being pushed for? Why are we going for Sterling, who's old, like he's out of favor at Chelsea, his wages are high, He's played for Man City, Liverpool, and Chelsea. Like, his best years are gone. Why are we trying to bring in this player? And then when you look at the ages, it's not even a like for like. Jadon Sancho has got a good 4 years on Sterling. Like, that's a whole contract. Like, that is a whole contract at another club. This guy has got that amount of ages on Sterling. Like, how are we thinking that this is a good idea? And now we're bringing in Raheem Sterling to an already jam-packed winger situation at Manchester United. Because I was talking about this, that if Raheem Sterling is planning or thinks that and wants to come to Manchester United, he needs to understand one thing. We are not going to accept petulance and this bitching and your team and people coming there to start causing us problems, because we don't need you. We don't need Raheem Sterling. We don't need him coming there talking to the tabloids saying that I deserve to play. I want to do that. We don't need that. Now, I'm not saying that's what he's going to do at Manchester United, because it seems like if he comes to Manchester United, he's going to be given a spot in that team. But I disagree. I don't think Raheem Sterling starts for Manchester United. I don't. With Garnacho there, Ahmad there, and then you've got Anthony. And I mean, he falls into the category of Anthony and Rashford right now, and to a certain extent Sancho, because those are our wingers. The only two best sparks at Manchester United when it comes to that winger situation is Ahmad and Garnacho, and nobody's going to tell me otherwise. Like, based on everything that we have seen, Rashford has started all our games, like these games that we've played. He hasn't scored. He hasn't. I don't know if it's. I forgot if he's provided an assist or what. Garnacho has come off the bench for him and has done the business. Ahmad has maintained his consistency since the preseason. Why are we bullshitting ourselves and thinking otherwise? We have this very fucked up mentality when it comes to the kids. I don't know why Manchester United is the one club that will not trust kids. I don't know why. You look at Barcelona, they've got a 17-year-old holding down that central, that CB position in Kubasi. What are you talking about? Like, other teams are having youngsters playing and representing them and doing the things. We have Kobe Mainoo who's 18. What are we talking about? And I think even Ahmad is old. And now, if we're trying to go into that high, every time I see Ahmad and Garnacho bench because of one of those senior players, I always think it's because of the hierarchy, age, or whatever. I always think so. I don't believe that it is about the talent and what these guys are going to believe. No, it's about the stupid-ass hierarchy that makes no sense. You look at Man City, Oscar Bob. I've been talking about Oscar Bob this whole preseason because this boy has been electric. Unfortunately for him, he's injured. But I kid you not, that boy would have been starting. Why is Manchester United the only club that is... Wait, is Manchester United a refugee camp? What the fuck is this? Are we a refugee camp where we just bring in old, beaten up players that are out of favor, that used to be good, that used to be bangers, players that used to light the Premier League on fire, whatever? Why are we trying to bring this dead weight? Why? We just got rid of Scott McTominay, somebody who the decision has kind of divided the opinion or divided the fan base. Because some are like, you know what? Scotty was a good player. He did a job for us, blah, blah, blah. But he had to go. Some are like, nah, he was not good enough. Nah. He had to go. So why are we trying to put ourselves in this situation? Already Erik ten Hag is failing to start Garnacho, putting Rashford. Now he wants to bring Sterling. Like, what kind of headache is he going to start causing for himself? Because now, when they bring these players in, he's going to have to answer some questions. And normally when he answers questions that I believe, because I don't think he's in for Rashford. I do not believe that Erik ten Hag is in for Rashford. That one is a lie. That's all Dan Ashworth and the United hierarchy. They're the ones that are pushing for this deal, when we could be focusing on other positions. This is the thing about Manchester United. We focus always on the wrong thing. We are screaming and crying out for a left back right now. A left back. This left back, we've been crying for this left back since last season. Since bloody last season. And here we are. We still have no left back. These guys are hoping that Roberto Carlos is going to come there and hit the ground running. Like, I am not sure. Like, I don't think so. I don't believe so. If he does it, oh well and good. That's happy days for us. Everything goes well. But if it backfires, then it means that they need to now in the January transfer window, we need a freaking left back. I'm looking at the situation with also Rasmus Højlund and Eric Xerxes. I know I touched a little bit about that guy. I'm like, I don't believe Xerxes is a real number 9. I still don't believe. I still stand by that. Uh, um, yes, if I get proven wrong, I will admit it. I will come here and say, listen, in the beginning I wasn't seeing it. I'm not seeing the striker mentality in him. I'm seeing more of a team player, number 10, likes to get involved and he's in the business. I don't see that Haaland thing or that Osimhen or that presence like a striker. Even Rasmus Højlund has that thing, So I don't know, and I feel like we needed to add another striker because I don't think we replaced. Because when Cristiano Ronaldo left, we only brought in Rasmus Højlund. When Martial left, we never replaced Martial. We brought Zirkzee. There was always another striker missing, So I think we needed to add that. And if at any point Manchester United is looking to break their rules or whatever, like I'm thinking, go for Tony. Tony is the perfect candidate. Like I know, and he's what 27, 28. Yes, I could easily say, you're probably gonna be like, but Ben, you just said you don't want Sterling. These are two different scenarios, two different players, two different positions. We don't need Raheem Sterling because we have a plethora of wingers. We do need a striker though. We do need a striker. And strikers right now, I don't see us looking at anywhere. Like I don't. There was this Omorodion guy who Chelsea were looking into. What? That guy is a very good striker. Why we never looked into him, I don't know. And it's crazy because I was thinking we need a striker, and there's one striker. Actually, there are two. There are two strikers out there that I know we'll never get, but I would absolutely love it if we tried. And I don't know, but they are both in Real Madrid, and it's weird. And they're Real Madrid's two substitutes. Now I know Real Madrid will never part with these guys, unless otherwise. But that Brahim Diaz and Endrick, the Brazilian youngster that just came in, that boy can come and do a job at Manchester United. I swear to you, that kid is the number 9 or the striker that we are looking for because he plays like a fucking striker. That boy is brilliant, powerful. I can't explain Endrick, but I can tell you that this boy can easily slot into our Manchester United squad. But his age, for some reason, will not. I don't believe, like, even if we were to sign him, they would put him on the bench. He will play with under 23s because of whatever. But that kid is special. And you know what's wild? His role models, his football role models. Sir Bobby, it makes sense that Enrique should be a player that Manchester United are looking into, trying to bring as a striker. Enrique, as young as, man, break the bank for that boy. That boy will come and do the business for Manchester United. Now I know you only wanted Real Madrid, blah, blah, blah. But hey, this is football. Money talks. I don't know what release clause. I don't know how many billions Real Madrid slapped on Enrique's release clause. But Manchester United needs to really, really consider getting in another striker instead of bringing in this Sterling situation. Like, this Sterling situation makes no sense. And if Ineos go ahead and do it, I think questions need to be asked. Because this is not the way we do things. We have been trying to run away from these things with the Cavani's, the Bastian Schweinsteigers, the Di Marias, the what. We've been trying to get rid of this kind of situation. We're bringing old players that have passed their prime, Players that had an opportunity to come to Manchester at a certain point, but chose because we were not vibing at that time, or we were not good, or we as Manchester United had passed our prime, were no more winning. So they're like, why should I go to Manchester United and go there and die? But Manchester United remains one of the biggest clubs in the world. One of the biggest clubs can give good salary. We take good care of our people. And people know that. So it's like, I know if I want to retire at a very good level, at a very high level, Manchester United need they need a player in every position. Like they don't have a goalkeeper. We need it. It's like, what the fuck? I'm sick and tired of people taking advantage of us. And Ineos, you know, listen, they've done a good job this window. In fact, they had to. It was something that it was inevitable. They had to do it. But some of the decisions they're making are a little bit questionable, and especially like this Sterling one. This Sterling one is baffling me. I don't understand it. I don't. Are you trying to tell me that there is no left back out there that we can snatch up, even like just to be there? Like a decent left back, a steady Eddie. Like nothing? Like, I don't know. But yeah, this situation with Raheem Sterling is bothering me. I don't understand it, and it's like, and it's crazy. There's some fans that are like, yeah, bring him in, and I'm like, huh? What? Why? Why? Why do you want this fucking guy? Why? Why? Like what? And Sterling, are you trying to revive your career? Like, are you trying to revive like your England? I don't get it. I don't get it, and it's frustrating. And if we do this deal, I don't know, man. I don't know. But the other story is Scott McTominay is officially left Manchester United. I think he's flown to Italy to do his medicals. Man, Scott McTominay wasn't really a young guy. He was 28, and the more I deep it, and the more I come to terms with a lot of things, because you know what? I don't know why, but I think only Manchester United fans can relate. You know, but we have this sentimental thing with our players that have been here for a very long time. We tend to be like, hey, it kind of feels weird when they leave, it's because we've seen them for a long time, we've been fighting with them, there's this love-hate relationship going on. So every time you see one of them leaving, it's sad. But again, we're not gonna sit here and cry and say, no, this is the end of the world. Nah, like this was supposed to happen. Like if it never happened now, like we were never ever going to get the kind of money that we got for him. In fact, we would, if he had gone to West Ham last season, like we would have gotten a nice easy 30 mil for Scott McTominay. I think West Ham wanted 60 for both Scott McTominay and Harry Maguire. That was good money. We're never gonna get that money. Already it has been decreased. So it's just one of those situations. But Scott McTominay, man, he was a servant, a loyal, faithful servant to Manchester United. If there's, I've got nothing bad to say about Scott McTominay. I'm sorry, nothing at all. Like I know I got frustrated with him being played as a centre back or being played in that CDM position when clearly he wasn't capable of. Like that wasn't his fault. It wasn't his fault. Scott McTominay was put there. He was trusted. They were trying to mold him into a player that he wasn't. And mind you, this guy started off as a striker. How the hell has Scott McTominay become a defensive midfielder? Yes, Casemiro was also a striker. But you know what I'm saying? Potato, two different things. I'm joking. But you know what I'm saying. Unfortunately for him, it just wasn't like that. But as a faithful servant for Manchester United, man, salute Scott McTominay. You've done the business for us. You've scored important goals for us. I'll never forget the winner, that cracker against Man City, raining at night. I think it was just before COVID. You scored a banger. All your goals were bangers, and you always came at the right time. And one thing that remained consistent with Scott McTominay, every single person that saw him train or spoke about him in the training ground was Scott McTominay was the best trainer. Like, if there's one thing, Scott McTominay, you can hold your head held up high, bro, chest out, because you bring it, bro. And I think Antonio Conte is going to love you in Napoli because you're the sort of player. Jose Mourinho, they like players that will go to war for them. And you are that type. You show the manager during training that, he has been so consistent. Like, I've never seen a player that has divided opinion in a fan base, but still found himself being one of the names on this in the team sheet. I've never seen that. Not I've never, but you know what I mean. It's very difficult. And Scott McTominay has been, man, big ups, Scott. Big ups. Unfortunately, man, we're moving forward. You're 28. If we didn't cash in now, when were we ever going to cash in? We're never ever going to be, unless you're going to stay here forever. Now, if you stay here forever, then we can't move forward as Manchester United. And we hope, as Manchester United fans, and you also understand, because that's your club. In as much as you be going to Napoli there, doing your thing, you are still going to be checking, keeping an eye, seeing what your boys are doing. You know what I mean? So, in a very strange and weird way, we thank you for your sacrifice, because it must have not been easy for you to accept it. Because at the end of the day, you had to say, yes, I will go. Otherwise, it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen no matter what. These guys can come in and say, I've got this. If Scott says, listen, I don't want, find another club. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. So thank you for your sacrifice. We hope and that you're gonna do all the best in what you do out there, bro. In Italy, I think you're gonna thrive. A lot of Manchester United ex-players that have gone to England, to Italy, have thrived. They've done well. Mkhitaryan, Chris Smalling, Ashley Young when he went, Darmian, who else? Who else? Who else? Who else? Who else? Who else? Matic went. Um, you know what I mean? Like, they do well in Italy, and I think he's going to go and do well. Plus, he's going to be with his boy Billy Gilmore, countryman. That boy is also a beast in his own right. You know, if he has Gilmore there, because Gilmore is the CDM, so you've got Gilmore sitting there, and then you've got Scott bombing back and forth. Easy, easy, easy. So thank you for your service, Scott McTominay. We appreciate every moment. I appreciate every moment you provided for us. I will keep on playing and seeing your goals, because you scored some really memorable, beautiful goals, you know. And yeah, it's a sad day, but at the same time, it's a good day. It's a day that should have happened. Um, and we move forward. Salute, Scott McTominay. And thank you, everybody, for listening to the Glory Reds podcast. It's your boy, Don Benito. Peace.